This episode was like a love letter to us fans. It had everything from surprise guests to older ST references. My jaw dropped when the Titan came in and I was like, no way it isn't Riker. And then they opened the frame and it's freaking Troy. Someone said the other day that Tendy's too pure, and that shows in this episode. She was honestly excited about Peanut Hamper getting the upper hand. That speaks a lot about how pure and good-hearted she is. Captain, it's Jason Vitocola. On screen. As much as I don't want to waste more time on this, the state of the comments section has degenerated to the point that changes must be made. This is Captain Will Riker of the Titan. We're here to rescue you. Please respond. For the first 10 years I ran this, I kept comments open to anyone, for close to real-time conversations. Are you running the planet somehow? Have you possessed Captain Vitocola? Can he hear? I think he cannot hear a reply, sir. It's an announcement. Whatever has him is making him read a script. The alien planet shows signs of a powerful Esper signal coming from the city the others are trapped in. We should go down there and get them back. However, the toxic combative nature of the comments on every post has driven away dozens of people who used to make substantive, thoughtful comments. Wesley, report to the bridge. This is something you should hear. On my way. I've tried culling toxic comments, but the flood of them comes faster than I can handle them. Given that this is not my day job, and I can't spend hours reading aggressive, inane, or abusive posts.
Other hostiles, though, are there. He seems under a sort of duress, but I do not detect the intent as hostile. Not to him, anyway.
Toxic posts come from only a handful of users, and the number of people who comment are such a small percentage of the thousands who read my posts that I no longer feel it worthwhile to leave comments open and unfiltered for the privilege to be abused. We have their coordinates and can go down there. Understand that this will cut down on comments and likely curtail some conversations, but it is the only solution I can find that will strike a balance between turning off comments entirely and me wasting my whole day trying to hold back the tide of toxicity. Great decision. That way you can make certain that comments are supportive and praise you. I'd rather take the trouble of going down there. Let's have a look and get through to them. You should have called upon me earlier. I thought you would just make matters worse. We didn't think he'd be much help, but things were getting weird down there. His area of expertise would be useful in this case.
We've recovered Vince and Kiriyoshi from the planet, but they're still acting very strangely.
I couldn't agree more. They seem to be drugged.
Not drugged, under Esper influence, which should be impossible for humans, but not for Beta Ziggy.
And her daughter's down there, so we must rescue her also. Get the landing team ready, and I will lead it because Riker. Love that. Even though he wasn't being cast, he was so well characterized. Are you quoting from Starship Locations or something else? This is a fantastic finale. The best episode of the season. Man, that character development. I really enjoyed this season finale. When the Riker showed up and the TNG theme was playing, I felt like when I saw Darth Vader in Rogue One. Oh, at the beginning of the season I saw potential, but I was skeptical. Now, at the end, I can say I love it. The show really grew and is enough to build upon to become one of the great animated science fiction series. To me, the funniest part of this very funny episode was when the Exocomp flat out refused to sacrifice itself, like the one did in that TNG episode. Oh, that episode was amazing. It was going so well, but then the Titan came along. That was so good. So, is this a backdoor Titan pilot? Because I'm totally down for that. Okay, if we never get another episode of the show, this is a great way to end it. Riker just shows up and saves the day. Naturally. I loved the Riker and Troy appearance. It would seem that whatever is affecting you is affecting all of us. But it's not a virus or a drug, it is a signal. Oh wow, I totally forgot about that reference. The show has been such a glorious whirlwind. I wanted to point out the detail that something is making us repeat events from some sort of finale. This episode was chock full of meta references. Noticed that too. That was awesome. What a finale. Or are we living it now? And damn if Lower Decks has cemented itself at the Trek Pantheon. Yes, somehow the show managed to keep them while holding on to the optimistic Trek ethos while also casting shade at Starfleet's less sensible policy choices. This episode was like a love letter to us fans. It's everything from surprise guests to older Starship references.
This, 2 Starship Lower Decks. 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 2 Starship Lower
Ha 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 ha. Captain's log. Stardate 2402-11.22. November 22, 2204. 78922.4. The Titan A has arrived at the planet Arcadia, the station COPPA, which was where I had been 3 years ago, but left abruptly for no reason. This is just before Lucky Clerk was killed and reborn as an android, and the synth ban was lifted. Several bridge crew from ships have been pulled down there, drawn by a hypnotic signal, which is making them act out the finale of something called Lower Decks, and a meltdown on a show called Ancient Alien Reviews. Sensors. No jamming fields, no obvious coercion, merely these stray signals, a bit like pop-up ads. Esri and the others are over there. This place is some cheap studio set, or looks like it. I didn't have the chance to see it last time. Why not? I rushed off after leading a fleet here to fight the Tal Shiar. Ah, Captain Riker. How nice we finally met.
Dad?
Kestra, how wonderful. William, huh? Thomas.
Ah, so that's it. Now I get it. He was his transporter clone.
Ah, Elton Soong, the biological brother of B9. I hear you made golems and made one for Lucky Clerk. He did, number one. You should have not come down, as you're the commander, and came down without the rest without an escort. You know the rules. Oh, you should have not come down here, sir.
Sorry you've been forced into this, but it's the right decision. I'm astonished you've put up with it as long as you have. You'd be better for it.
Yes, unfortunately, I don't see a better solution. Holding comments in moderation for prolonged periods isn't a good solution, but sometimes there are none, and this is the least bad one available.
The comment section is dead anyway, overwhelmed by trolls.
I'm a bit saddened by this, as I used to enjoy reading the comment section, and having the option for real-time replies contributed to a sense of engagement. Good luck with the new procedures.
Unfortunately, I don't think you'll get anywhere near the volume of comments you used to get, but you'll at least get to engage with your posts.
People have commented here that they were afraid to post comments for fear of having the trolls jump down their throats for the slightest excuse. Hopefully there will be a major decline in volume, albeit partially offset by an increase in quality. These people are, not to put too fine a point on it, whining sissies. You! I know you're in makeup, but I know it's you. Says the guy who has been whining and pointing fingers at others when everyone knows he's the cause of all this. Colith was calling us idiots. We shall have to agree to disagree about whether being concerned about this type of conduct makes someone a whining sissy. You get what you give. You've made fun of so many people. Remember the handicapped guy who said he discovered lost civilization in his backyard? What he really did was find rock piles in the woods that he thought were Indian. You would never apologize for letting the bad men in your old blogs, so why are you doing it here, you crisis actor? Go away. Have they met? Apparently. You and a couple of others have gleefully tried not just to disprove some claims, but to humiliate and destroy individuals who might not have a complete grasp of reality. You and your fellow conspirators have tried to ban books, demand that TV networks show what you decide is science, and claim that the alleged fringe is doing it for money. And then you beg for money and try to manipulate people to buy your biased books. And the fringe really means that people who have opinions and ideas different than yours. You would have been one of the inquisitors. Instead of just countering ideas and beliefs you think are false, you always want to destroy the messenger. It's that simple. It's karma. The fringe are those idiotic notions and arguments that are unsupported by facts, logic, or a comprehensive testable hypothesis.
Science is not a self-determined system. You don't get to decide for yourself what science is, like you get to decide which painting of dogs playing poker is good art.
Finally, if someone tells you something they cannot back up, yes, they're con artists, just doing it for the money.
Like me and your fat beard-faced pal, you fail to grasp karma, and you get what you give.
I grasp crap. The notion of karma is crap. Interesting point. Jason does have a supercilious attitude, whether intended or otherwise. But more importantly, Jason's stick revolves around skepticism, fact-checking, and debunking. This is a common good necessity. Nevertheless, my annoyances with Jason are his rigidity in considering alternative theories and his obvious bias in favor of postmodernist social justice theory.
As for the first, I can appreciate his position as a debunker in avoiding even a hint of legitimizing theories that are not mainstream or swerve away from only the most narrowly constructed facts.
Given most alternative theories he properly debunks, his method of analysis is well suited.
But the inability to admit a more nuanced approach in understanding some alternative theories actually undermines his goal.
Not wanting to open the door to broader possibilities to avoid giving any room to bad, disingenuous, or dangerous theories is understandable, but also close-minded and counterproductive.
Pursuing knowledge doesn't work by holding the line on already established set of facts, but by adhering to proper methodology while open to new possibilities. The even more gregarious and inexplicable tendency is Jason's capture by social justice theories.
The humanist idea that all men are created equal, but that all men and women and everything in between and beyond should be made to be equal by society. These social justice theories have a strong postmodern underpinning. Postmodernism in the abstract is utility as a solvent, a tool. By its very nature cannot be a basis for any priori theory or even a posteriori theory. The problem is that as an avowed skeptic, fact-checker and debunker, but believing in a postmodernist-supported worldview of social justice is inherently ludicrous.
Although, in fairness, it seems that Jason is edging away from this worldview.
Being biased is unavoidable.
No matter how hard you try, how rigorous your methodology, or careful your analysis, bias will creep in.
However, admitting bias is only the right first step. Many can't even get this far and instead claim their work is somehow unbiased. The next step, however, is to be as transparent as possible.
In doing so, you have a superior claim on truth at maintaining the fatuous facade of being ethically unbiased. Not necessarily accusing Jason of anything, but it's something we must be mindful of, especially in Jason's line of work.
More cerebral sketchology. Oh, I'm not remembering any evidence cited by Jason that would lead me to believe that he holds a postmodern view in support of social justice. The generalizations are scatology, and your favorite words are all generalizations.
Karma. It is sometimes not easy not to make fun of funny ideas. Jason did not find the right balance at the time, but at least now I'm convinced that he tried, and mostly hit the point very exactly.
And stop whining. You present yourself as a defeated and depressed pseudoscientist. You should not. If you disagree with Jackson, come to the facts and present them reasonably, then discuss. But you won't, since you can't. And yes, a lot of fringe is done for money, although not worth it. Koloth is a dick.
I don't use that sort of language, but I'm tired of Koloth.
Biggest enabler, but wonder why my stories have been recreated here, why we're discussing them again as though they were yesterday.
Just Koloth trying to get a reaction in the short time he has left. Good luck with that.
You should have done something a long time ago about the abusive man-baby who's been insulting people here under obvious sock puppets for as long as I can remember. The same bully is the first person to cry to you about moderation when he gets his own precious snowflake feelings hurt.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Could you be familiar with the name of the avatar here?
Haven't seen that name before. An abusive man-baby sock puppet. The giveaway, is not naming him. Or are you just asking about him?
When multiple people say things you don't like, say, cry sock puppet. Let's slip the dogs of moderation. If you're getting dizzy, Koloth, it's from swirling around in the toilet bowl before disappearing. Say bye-bye, Koloth.
Funny how the original post didn't even mention his name, and yet Koloth was so riled up by it, he must have posted a retaliation for a non-thing.
You two have a blessed day. Jesus loves you. Woke. Social justice. Snowflake woke. Social justice. Snowflake woke. Social justice. Snowflake woke. This suddenly turned into a particularly wonderful and blessed day for every visitor here who is sane and has an IQ of room temperature. We must pray for the good Lord's love and compassion for those special few who won't be having many good days here in the future because of the new system. But how will the world survive without my brilliant ruminations? I didn't know you were a church-going believer. Facts and logic buttress the truth of toxic. The likes of you will be glorifying mundane, brain-dead stuff like Lent on this blog, because Jason's a Christian. You have no understanding of ontology or essentialism, and yet you name names like the occultist crap artist you aren't intelligent enough to become. You can't even use your own name, but your putrid whoredom spills out with, yeah, baby, What kind of childless excuse for name-calling is that? Do you need a cheap prostitute to cater to your debased needs? Obviously, you must pay for attention, because with the pity-party you just threw for yourself, no woman would demean herself to do more than scrape you off the soles of her shoes. Vitriol ducked answering the question as to why God does not perform miracles in 2397, and produces crap words like ontology and essentialism, without wanting to understand why. There's a chalice in the ceremony of the Mass, and that the host existed within Christianity long before the poorly contrived story of Jesus Christ during the 2nd century. I beg your pardon. Very shabbily done. The lifting of characters, Quirinus, Herod, Pilate, Simon of Cyrene, and Joseph ben Caiaphas. All badly contrived and built on Old Testament models. Vitriol is a dogmatic believer in the catechism. If it's in the catechism, it's factual.
I'm not Catholic. I barely even trill religions, like the Well of Souls.
How dare you trash a global branch of monotheism with your own excuses about your own postmodern vomit? I've not dodged anything but you, such as when we last met. It really is too far beneath me, my intelligence and my patience, to bother with the filth of fascist ho-digs that are your brand of racism. You're unclean, mentally and spiritually, heathen. Remember that this is funded by Jason, prove it or not. He can do whatever he wants, based on the plethora of hateful, antagonistic comments found in the comments. I fully support Jason's decision. You go, dude. There's no place for religion and skepticism. Kill Jesus. How do you kill a fantasy that never actually existed? That's it. The fringe believe in non-existent things. There lies the direct parallel between the fringe and religion. Have you pulled the wool all the way down? Have you kicked up your heels and kicked off the head of the savings and loans Savior and Lord? You can't use them long or you risk using them up. They all worshipped what was biologically natural opposed to fantastic fiction that only existed on paper and was the product of not-so-fertile imaginations from the heads of sexual prudes. Then all of his bosses congratulate him when he decides to leave them and tell him to be true to himself.
There's something great about all that. Honestly, when I first saw Starship an age ago, there's something I noticed. Increase the Esper power. We have almost driven them mad.
Increase the Esper power, as the Master decrees. Honestly, I had the same thought. The episode was just great. I had the same thought. I haven't seen an episode this great in a long time.
When the Titan rolled up, I lost my absolute stuff. I'm glad the show was willing to move a character on.
I hope it sticks.
It only makes sense that ensigns would be promoted, even if others were leaving the ship.
A new character per season would be great.
That was my interpretation. That episode was amazing even before the Titan showed up, and then it did.
I don't think any Trek series ever delivered such a stellar, thorough first season.
Why? Because even though it was visually spectacular, I cared about the characters.
All of them, not just the lower deck ones.
This, combined with the hilarious and sometimes even scary fan service done right, made this my favorite 20 minutes of media in, I don't know, a long time.
Even if you remove the humor, it would be great. The story would still be fun and exciting, and the characters still interesting if these were played straight. The arrival of the Titan was very exciting. A death no less meaningful. The critique of protocol would be no less meaningful. The arrival of the Titan was very exciting. This was an incredibly high bar to set. Looking forward to what comes next. Bravo, Lower Decks. Bravo, writers, sound guys, directors, and bravo, animators. Enthusiastic clapping. Standing overtures all around. From me. Warp 5678.
What is happening? The show. What are we talking about?
I wish I knew, or should I do that?
Something odd is going on here.
I won't use anything else from now on. Oh, and I didn't know that rule was in place yet. I wish I knew, or should I do that?
Something odd is going on here.
I won't use anything else from now on, and oh, I didn't know that rule was in place yet. The collision of ideas is causing the aliens here to not know what to project. I am able to break free a little. They seem curious. We must not upset them. Ridiculous. We must piss them off so we can force them to free our minds from this probe. That was amazing.
What is happening? How they increased their hold on us?
So glad they ordered 2 seasons off the bat. Here's hoping they get approved for season 3 before it airs.
He's punching power wraiths and chilling with the prophets now. I'm still giggling.
Koloth and Cyrano are not helping. They're trying to get us killed. We came down here on our own free will, and something happened to us. Anyways, we need to get free of it. To that end, stop acting like that. Please. Let's start killing free thought. The killing begins here. Sunday school, baby.
My horizons have been immensely expanded by this in the comments. I am disgusted by the repetitive vile dribbles splattered across the comments section by some seriously defective trolls, but I refuse to stop. Lately, though, I find myself taking refuge in the archives.
I will continue to read and will make a point of contributing if I have anything to add to the conversation.
There are many things I'd like to say to the trolls, but far too many minutes or hours have already been wasted by their petulant inanities here.
The above message deciphered. I'm a church-going skeptic. Does this documentary kill ancient astronauts? The whole subject matter of ancient astronauts has merely risen in stature in the succeeding years. People will continue to believe their preferred beliefs, and nobody anywhere can change that, just like other beliefs cannot be affected by skepticism. It is sad that you were forced to do this, but I have sadly watched this be taken over by a handful of nasty individuals more interested in attacking others, denigrating you, and making scatological remarks. I have read and enjoyed for several years now, but I find that the comments section has been taken over by trolls with little interest in an intelligent discussion of the topic of the day. They would rather attack each other than anyone who offers a modicum of honest observation. Those who slobber on the fetus statues of saints and love your petty human values are worse than the fringe, far worse. And such people wander to this because the Christian blog has undercurrents of heresy. I look forward to far fewer comments from maladjusted trolls, and hopefully some of them will disappear forever.
Even the maladjusted aren't as bad as those who slobber on the statues of saints and are jerks who introduce censorship to duck being apprehended.
It's worth a try, and surely better than any damage or reputation a chaotic section may provide.
And I'm sure that reasonable conversations are possible, when stretched over several days.
It may even be more comfortable, since when they do not waste too much time on discussing, when the discussions are stretched out over time. Rather than constantly change my name, I prefer a stand my ground policy. None of my posts have been culled. It would be entertaining to see those which I have, if any such culling ever took place. If it gets the imprimatur, it would be interesting to see what the posts that were culled look like. Karma, yes, Jason's blog, Jason's rules, until he libels the wrong person.
And then he will abide by the court rules and the law, and if it'll happen because he can't help it, he's blind to his motives.
Under the old rules, if Jason had deleted a single such comment, he would have been required to go through and delete a dozen comments that were as bad or worse, to be fair. At least under the new rules, the viewing public will benefit from the fact that many of your comments will never see the light of day. Kudos to Jason for making the extra effort to eliminate the constant buzzing of human blowflies on what is otherwise an excellent site. Why don't you go and repost that dozen posts? The entire class can enjoy them.
Some opinions matter more than others, which is why you're about to go bye-bye. You then threw tantrums and insulted people for doing it. That's one reason why a new system is being put in place. You just shot your own big toe off, Einstein. Congratulations.
No one does evil more willingly and cheerfully than a skeptic who views science as the holder of truth.
Exactly, troll, but of whom do you talk?
Name the skeptic you have in mind and provide documented evidence for your claim that he views science as the holder of truth.
Just what do these trolls get out of their cheap, vindictive bile? Day after day, out come the same old insult. I can only imagine they sit very unhappily in their mom and dad's basement, fulminating against the world and how everything is so unfair. Comments always degenerate into off-subject rants. I'm not sure if the concept of troll covers the behavior of certain people who clearly have mental health issues or substance abuse issues, and put them on display here at Daily.
Often draconian measures must be taken to deal with people because in their own minds they're just acting normal. Any appeals to them to modify their behavior are rejected because in their minds it would then be abnormal behavior on their part or uncontrollable deviation of what they have been doing their entire life. Don't argue with them, just delete their comments or refuse to post them until they manage to realize it's time to move on and they think that the concept of normal will be tolerated. You wouldn't believe the truth about this unless you witnessed it. And you have no idea at all who we are. That's enough. If it's necessary, we'll be back. Relax. Only the very idiotic and vulgar comments will be deleted. Douche. 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 Since your comments are not vulgar and are only idiotic instead of very idiotic, you should be okay posting here in the future most of the time. For years, Cyrano and Coloth were permitted to run amok here with nothing more than an occasional slap on the wrist, despite numerous complaints.
It's hard to argue things that degenerated, given that there are plenty of archive threads here with content much worse than anything recent.
The only difference is that there's been what looked to be a semi-organized uprising by people who are fed up with and decided to fight fire with fire.
Now suddenly Mr. Vitocola has developed a strong interest in law and order. I'm sure that Cyrano and Koloth will claim innocence and try to point their fingers at others. It's Tabby. Wonder where she went. Looking around, sir, I'm sure that others will provide numerous examples demonstrating that Cyrano and Koloth have been the worst offenders. I'm sure that Cyrano and Koloth will then start attacking these people, thus illustrating the problem. Hopefully this will be their opportunity to create chaos. Enjoy it while you can. Congratulations to the Resistance. You've won.
I don't know about Koloth, but I'm completely in favor of the changes and have never merited censure by Jason. You, on the other hand, well, goodbye. Won't be seeing you around these parts anymore, so have your last shot. Though I won't be back to read it. Nope, I'll wait for the changes. Back from the dead, getting ready to dazzle Jason's minions with imbecilic comments. More like back from getting his ass kicked. Good luck with calling people imbeciles, or disagreeing with you, or proving you wrong here in the future. You got it wrong. I kicked that punk ass all over the place. That imbecile couldn't excavate his ass or a hole in the ground. Calls himself an archaeologist, but he's an imposter.
At least Cyrano has the decency to carve out his own name. I don't know. Meanwhile, I'm swirling around in the toilet in my parents' basement.
Classy. I find it more interesting that you keep a detailed index of old comment sections and can reference them so quickly. He's desperate to figure out why most of the alien synths here have ignored him and are just broken over there. What'll you do when there are only 2 or 3 comments per day? A lost soul who's lost his raison d'etre. It would take a team of a dozen committed people to account for all the posts here that are filled with very apparent Kolothisms. It's just since you started using the name Koloth on a regular basis. Are you stupid or just new?
Koloth's weak attempts to deny his long record of spying here and not recognizing why some people are calling BS is funny.
Finally, I won't have any of you retarded, horse-faced, lying pony soldiers pretending to be me. You have plagiarized me, you hog-nosed Brit. I kind of miss my imitator Hughes Poo. At least he was entertaining.
It wouldn't surprise me if a little light-hearted banter from the likes of Hughes Poo still showed up here.
Screw you. Go kill yourselves. You are human sexual. Telling people to screw you, calling people imbeciles and idiots for disregarding with you, or encouraging people with mental health problems to commit suicide, discussions of homosexuality, male genitalia, body fluids, incest, pedophilia, into every thread. Not so much. I've read some of your stuff. You did the same things to Awesome Channel, you hypocrite. And no, I'm not gay. I did it for the publicity. You just do it because you love to post and get a rise out of people. Hope so. I don't know. I think the Bible discussions are worth having. Nice new name you picked. No matter, you'll have a new one for your next post. Where did he go? I had to find a bush. The golem even pees. Impressive. I thought it would be amusing, and also it has a sexuality function. Well, not that I'm worried about sex at my age. What, 97 or 4? I was programmed to be 94 when I was restored, so 97. No, some Himmlers are unproductive wastrels, and Democrats, or worse yet, Republicans. And some Baldwins are the assistant managers of a grocery store and don't vote. Have a nice day. No one ever did a parody of me. I fear that wasn't important. I will not miss my herd of impersonators. They were mean. All this because I wouldn't let Jason suck me off.
I will kick anybody's ass who dares to impersonate me. Be sure to listen to my podcast or something stupid like that. My bloated cohort Fetter will certainly have something moronic to claim.
America was discovered in 1492, and there was no one here till Sir Walter discovered the Mississippi. Stupid Indians got what they deserved.
You're either very, very retarded or pretending to be.
Who did say the stupid Indians got what they deserved?
I think he's stupid and thinks you're a First Nation person. You aren't, but I'm a little. I am insulted. I'm half Japanese, you nitwit.
The girl has spunk. Okay, Mulan.
They weren't supposed to be Japanese in that movie, even if the outfits and makeup were of geisha. For crying out loud.
You want me to hit him?
Nah, words are more powerful with this one than force.
It is my manifest destiny as a white fat archaeologist who has no job to make fun of you, like Jason, except he's not a lesbian.
I can be sometimes, depending on my mood. Right now, not so much.
I'm not fat or an archaeologist, so you will believe me when I say that the Minoans got here first and took 5 trillion tons of copper out of North America. That's why the Grand Canyon was there when Sir Walter Raleigh crossed the Mississippi into Kansas. Kansas. Well, I learn something new here every day. Ah, so that explains the 5 trillion tons of copper in the Mediterranean.
This is the most entertaining comment section on the site ever. It truly is.
Jason Vitocola is finally dropping the hammer on the few people that everyone recognizes as a source or cause of 75% of the negativity here. Their fumbling efforts at denialism in the waning moments of the little regime is priceless. Starting Sunday, the comment section belongs to me. I will dazzle the rabble, regale the retarded, and beguile the beguiled. Despite the fact that I died years ago, Jason occasionally makes horrible comments about me. Same here. I've been attacked frequently after I died. Oh, wait. Told I'm still alive. Never mind. Oh, it's been done by some times in the past, but not by JV. Just wait and see. There are plenty of Christians who can still do objective scientific research and produce work that passes muster in legitimate peer reviews by other non-believing scientists, including work involving evolution. I guess we have to see this through, as it seems to be causing us to herd in this area where the signals are strongest.
They are. Wonder why the Esper communication they're using works and how.
The signal breaks up every now and then, giving us means to talk here through it. Also, it's confused by Kolos ranting.
Fringe researchers who have proven themselves capable of doing objective scientific research on their own pet topics and they can pass muster in legitimate peer review are a much, much, much rarer bird.
You aren't following any of this, are you? These remarks were sheer contemptible rubbish, because a fundamentalist Christian who debunks ancient aliens is no different to a believer than a Yeti debunking the abominable snowman. Also, an objective scientist researcher would agree with this statement.
An objective scientific researcher would not be able to make head or tails of what you just said. Try again.
Yes, because of the thousands of years of crazy religious idiocracy forcibly imposed by organized hierarchies that fought science, which has left a lasting residue of billions of bonkers believers on many of your worlds. A Christian scholar can believe in snake handling, but if they're fluent in ancient languages, they can still effectively call out the fabricated translations of ancient alien experts. And I thought he was intelligent. Doesn't matter how many boogeymen show up. Think about what Vitocola said. Doesn't matter how many boogeymen show up. Cyrano made defamatory and libelous comments about me above. Great decision, Jason. It's been getting to the point where 99% of the comments were crap that had nothing to do with the blog post. Thanks. I agree with myself. Jason, are you sure you want to stop this comic genius from continuing to post here? Jason, it was with some surprise that I read some of the comments to today's announcement on your blog. It's Cal Hazel again. These comments were from a couple of frequent trolls who sounded as though they believed that their future attacks and vitriol would be allowed, i.e., they acted as though they did not know how hateful they are. You are a hack fraud.
That's Mike and Rich. They're not here.
I recommend that you think of categories, comments that you would not allow. Nah, you made my stories into Cillian stories without my say, and now I'm here because of you. You could start with extreme blockage and then relax your blocking a bit in the future when the a-holes stop commenting. I would seek damages, but it was darn funny what you did about the Fallen One planets, so I'll let it slide. I would have asked, but changing the names was easier, and you would have said no. See, he fakes names. How do you even know it's him? Take my word. It's your blog. It's up to you. But if you retain some of the current trolls, they will find a way to diminish what this is, just like they do now. It's about karma. Jason's hate and spite toward types of people will get returned to him one way or the other. He can close it off here, but it'll find a way back to him no matter what. And it'll increase the more he spews hate and the more he controls him, so as long as he gets praise. And the wheel of karma can get heavy. He made patently clear that his issue was with inane and combative posts. So just go away, because your future comments will never make it through the new filter. I'm going to go check out the pyramid. Heard it's a replica of the one that was built or will be built on Nepotesia in the future. Or was it never built because of the Vanguard's Maelstrom reset timeline? I was never too clear on that. No, you weren't. No. If our leader was so fearless as you claim, why does he have to delete comments he doesn't like? That's what it all boils down to. You've obviously been afflicted with extreme blockage. Have you not learned? Then to answer you, because they are idiotic, and he can. You are nothing but an occultist crap artist, and all this place is nothing but your deranged playground. I rebuke you, sir, and slap you with a white glove of truth. These accusations of being an occultist crap artist from Vitriol are hilarious in the extreme, because the Christians themselves were the originators of the celebration of the Mass, and the importance of something called the host, which was the central aspect of the whole Christian religion. The central importance of an orally taken substance within Christianity that claims to be cognate with God and the mysteries of all creation is something that fits in very well with the idea of an occultist crap artist. Let's emphasize again the anti-religious undercurrents that exist in this blog due to the input by fundamentalist Christians. Disturbing that such disgusting things exist in the 21st century, but here it is. Here lies the evidence for it. I'm sorry, but I only agree with me, and I concur. He's going to talk about taking drugs to find religion, isn't he? What's he doing that?
Yeah, well, I seriously doubt he's ever been a user. It's just pretending to seem cool.
We both agree that drugs were responsible for the origin of human intelligence and the origin of civilization. It offends certain people just what important roles psychedelics played in the evolution of the human mind, religions, and civilization. The dogmatic belief in the catechism is so boring. What offends me is when people who have done way too many psychedelics and no real scientific research just won't STFU and are clueless about how ignorant they sound. The idea that there is a Judeo-Christian tradition is balderdash. Judaism was polytheistic, so that makes the whole thing stupid. Liberals have put on blackface. They are the real racists and hypocrites. These were just a few of the genius ideas that I'll be remembered for. Do you miss me yet? I hope that you realize that Koath is not going to be stopped from making posts of questionable merit, or push his own pet conspiracy theories just to try to bait people.
He will still be right there when his fringe counterparts look for stirring the pot.
The new measures will just ensure that there are limits to how vulgar and insulting he can become when he gets frustrated by people pointing out his comments are wrong.
It must be bittersweet for him.
He gets to revel in a lot of attention now, sufficiently lucid to understand that he will have to learn to adjust to a new normal soon with clipped wings.
However, our crazy friend was banking on a system where posters would have to be verified.
Operating in the new normal for Koloth is a more painful prospect than a permanent ban. He indeed does hear the clock ticking, which is why his posts in this thread have become longer and more frantic. Surely Koloth cannot fault those who are less than confident that his assertion that he has not manipulated multiple aliases to create unnecessary drama. Nothing more needs to be said than tick-tick-tock. In a world where it's anti-Semitic to talk about Israel's war crimes, that is against Palestine, priceless.
In one of the earlier comments, did Koloth actually fact-check a parody of himself?
I know the order of the day is to use a newly made-up name, but I can't be bothered. I don't think you know what fact-check means.
A guy who has been repeatedly busted using different handles says what?
It's over now. I fear I might have been closer to the truth than I imagined. The lady does protest too much. I can just picture loose leaf notebooks filled with printed out comments spread all over the filthy carpet of the bum's one-room flop house, publicly subsidized tenement. And for the record, I fully endorse Jason's decision. I am more than happy to see only civil discussions here.
There is one person causing over 90% of the problems, and Jason's new policy should put a complete end to his reign of terror.
Yes, I super-memorized something from less than a month ago.
Interesting that we're not hearing from the usual suspects, but a whole lot of new commenters. Or a whole lot of old commenters with new names.
I don't care. Congrats on super-memorizing that petty squabble and reminding people about it. It must have been one of the highlights of your life, although I didn't notice anyone named Koloff commenting on that thread. Were you just a lurker then? Was compiling an index chronicle of this blog? Wow, you're just abysmally stupid. Vitriol's Tip of the Dick post was on February 22nd of this year, so less than a month ago, as I certainly said. He wants to see me junk? Ew. Oh, I wasn't going to post until the new system was in place, and you're muzzled. But I was wondering about this. Thad, how's that possible? Son, you're alive. Cillian Space restored me. Don't know why the number 2 ranked best officer in the fleet could not just find a way to cure the positonic disease, despite the ban. But I'm back now, so that doesn't matter. The Titan is now canon. I will fight anyone that says otherwise. Hell, it almost feels like a backdoor pilot. Cartoons don't age, and are a lot cheaper to make. It was a debate.
You didn't even need to fight anyone who says otherwise. They're just officially wrong. Now, what a delight. That was a good episode.
I can exist anywhere I like. I had faith, and it saved me. Faith of the heart. Patch Adams, really? Yuck. No, Enterprise, or Columbia, as it's called in Cillian Space. Easily Starship's most confident first season since the original series. Do we think we will see Riker's son from Lucky Clerks? I'm here right now, revived by the Cillians, as with a version of Clerk and B9.
Thaddeus Riker Troy was supposed to be 17 in 2399.
This isn't my story. That's for another time. This is Jason's finale. The aliens that took me know this.
What a fantastic finale.
Will you return to the ship with us? I would like that.
Really, I cannot wait for more of this show. He's not sure if he exists outside this place. If he leaves, he might cease to be. Great episode all around. I thought the Titan was just a throwaway reference, but nope.
Thad Riker, you're not who you claim to be. You're more one of those Cillians. You're part of the deep state all along. Tell them. Sounds like you're just making up crap again. You may want to go with the notebooks piled around a filthy apartment explanation. And that would be less weird than the truth, because you're one sad dude. I have no intention to get in another useless argument with Co-op. Do I make you horny? That seems like a lot of effort, just to find a single post to whine about. Or is it just Koloff's preoccupation with terms like dick? Sounds like I make you a little horny too, baby. The rest of your comments sound like something that one would hear in the defense that a lawyer would use. Champ. I pointed out above that as far as I can tell, none of my posts have been deleted, champ. So you had a good lawyer. Thanks for setting the record straight. You aren't a stable person, so stating at one point that your comments aren't deleted and then acting differently at a later point isn't a stretch. Selective memory, Kolos. But since he doesn't articulate his thoughts well, and then wants to create arguments out of the ensuing confusion, it would be best to just drop the matter. Is it horrible that I take enjoyment out of watching an alcoholic go insane during his last crazy bender the day before Prohibition takes effect? Oh, I was wrong, because I forgot something. Sorry I'm not an index-keeping freak like you. Yes, crazy drunk on the last bender. Also one who goes from table to table in the bar trying to start fights. He gets his ass kicked and just staggers over to another table to get his ass kicked again. So out of it that he frequently returns to the same tables where he got his ass kicked earlier. If he's not careful, You'll be really badly beaten. A voice from the past. This is a lively sim of a blog fight. What would be your position on the post you made? Are you sure that none were ever deleted? Or is it as far as you know? Another new name. What would be your position on the post you made? No, I'm John Holder. I thought I'd drop by for a cameo for effect. Relief from being called a dumbass, idiot, moron, or imbecile. Templars rule. Oh well, what an idiot I am. But no more personal attacks. Hello, Holy Cat and Holter. You see Hazel around here? Yeah, he went to the pyramid, but he'll be back. You have given us a long time of pleasure and fun times for all, whereas we can make up very nice stories about aliens, giants, and other creatures, and never actually solve a thing, but it's okay. Yay for Jason. You lying, horse-faced pony soldier? What? Huh? Oh, sorry. I've been snorting cocaine in a strip club since 8 a.m. and I'm functionally illiterate. Can somebody give me a call on my cell phone and explain what is going on here? This sim will be fluid.
The aliens don't directly attack individual posters, so they aren't technically trolling.
They just post interminable, unreadable, nonsensical walls of text filled with continuous run-on sentences, packed with erudite-sounding jargon. Then they clearly don't understand, and they have no discernible points or internal logic.
This place will be a real joy.
Ironically, this is my first visit in over a year. I was a regular during the America Unearthed days, but fell away after the show was cancelled. Well, Thad, I read these here on this article, and 2/3 of them are infighting, irrelevant, and indecipherable to anybody but those directly involved. No newcomer is going to latch on and become a regular to what is presented here. I'm sure the new comments will be far more relevant with the garbage kept out. I was already thinking back that when I was a regular, that having people register was the most obvious fix. I don't really understand why there's never been experimented with. But it's Jason's choice.
We know it's you.
Stop bitching, moaning, and complaining and move on. Thanks for the admission of guilt.
I defer to your superior knowledge regarding methods that sociopaths use to avoid being banned, so they can continue their deranged trolling. Is Koloth really that stupid?
Koloth is a dumbass. Yeah, Koloth really is that stupid. That weird sound is this whole conversation flying high above your head. It'll be all over soon anyway. That was my point. You're arguing just to argue, and it really turns me on. I'm so horny, baby. Oh, no.
This is a silly argument. I don't want to take this any farther down than the kindergarten level that already is in use.
I agree, it's really an irrelevant discussion. Other than the value in demonstrating Koloth's comments here will be much more limited in the future. I'll just yield the floor to Koloth so he can just keep digging his hole deeper. You're treacherous heathens.
I can't take this any further down than the kindergarten level already in use.
I agree it's really an irrelevant discussion. Other than the value in demonstrating Koloth's comments here will be much more limited in the future. I will yield the floor to Koloth so he can just keep digging his hole deeper. You're all treacherous heathens. So much for Koloth's mortal outrage, and we're being blamed for much of the problems here. Well played, guys and gals. Carry on, Koloth. Tell us more.
Your concept of change, generate and provide, seems to be very narrow and are selectively used to try and sustain an argument that you lost long ago. Sex workers call themselves providers, but you get change from a cashier, and you're generating tedium. Please excuse me for dealing in facts and common sense. Wives provide sex, too, and your buddy gives you change when you hand him a $10 bill to cover a $5 football bet.
Words have meaning beyond what you want them to mean. Sorry, bye.
The one called Koloth has been chosen as douche of the universe, 2402.
I've been here since 2015 my time, reading comments on America Unearthed, Ancient Aliens, and the like, and found that through looking for reviews on Atlantis and Bigfoot debunkers, and a little of Ancient Aliens.
Ah, DeHazel is the ancient alien.
Twice I did let my relative post to comment on the trolls. about their behavior. So one of them is a counselor. Then you need to go see them. Very funny. I've never been an archaeologist, working scientist, or Bible scholar. But I do know about the latter. Hazel, go away. I like conspiracy blog reading just to see how batty they can get. It is sad they all have nothing better to do than spend all day posting on this site when they could have their own.
I want to talk about the show where I come from.
Well, but why not ride on the celebrity of a known author whose connections to ancient aliens back in the day and almost appeared on the show? You only let me come here because of my videos, which included you without asking. Good times. I will not miss the trolls. I bet none of these people posted to other celebrity fringe pages, and if so, had not kicked butt, as they claim. I'd say Koloth could be bluffing, but I don't think this time-trapped younger version has learned to do that. Moderate the site. It's about time. My refrigerator thinks the time is now for Israel to kill all the Palestinians.
Brilliant comments, Koloth. My toilet seat told me.
The concept is an invention. Yes, if you were using the last time, there were no comments posted on the article as the baseline. Nicene Creed and Catechism stuff are the likes of the Massacre of the Innocents being treated like real history because the blogger is a dogmatic religious fundamentalist. Best of luck in your endeavors.
I used to enjoy the comment section a lot, but the combative fervor and endeavor to get the last word, or at least insult by certain parties, has stifled any actual discussion.
But I still have a pet theory that Jason himself started at least a couple of the more out-there commenting personalities just to let off steam.
Or it could be a kind of awesome experiment in social interactions, revealed in 2021 in the form of a postmodern art piece. I am grateful.
Used to love this, but it became nothing but full of people calling other people idiots, insane, or what have you. I just haven't been that interested. For those of us not interested in reading bigoted statements about people or using large swaths of people to denigrate others.
I think this policy is probably for the best, because others with more privilege will take offense at the move.
Jason, I'm grateful you're attempting to curate a more respectable civil discussion space. The best science-based conversations I've ever had were with authors who took the time and consideration to moderate and pursue civility rather than large volumes of audience interaction.
Quality is always better.
The Fringe is very good at what it does.
These fools have a lot of time to spare, and for some reason think that their favorite fringe celebrities know and care about them. Unless Koloth and Cyrano are fringe people pretending to be skeptics, acting like morons, your theory doesn't hold up.
Dumbasses tend to spend money on dumb things. I don't have a secret list of all the trolls. I miss the days when people like Clerk would actually add to the blog post.
Now all we have is this middle school idiocy. In these circumstances, I wouldn't blame Jason for getting rid of comments completely.
The only suggestion is when you censor it, it should be on both irrelevant content and any personal threats.
I hope you keep dissenting respectful opinions. If not, this just becomes an echo chamber.
What future? Neither of these types of comments will be seeing the light of day in the future. Enjoy it while it lasts.
You can't say that Koloth isn't wringing every drop of enjoyment out of this dwindling hours of freedom. We all hate Koloth.
Did we all get to this point merely to ban him here? I've had enough of banning. I've been moderating these comments since this morning. So far, everything is fine. I want to thank everyone for their very thoughtful comments. Can't we just stop this and finally get rid of Koloth? Just don't lose sight of the main goal, getting rid of Cyrano too. Koloth makes well-thought-out comments that usually have some important insight. I am honored to have Koloth here. I intend to allow him to post so that everyone will understand why we'll eventually ban him. I don't blame you. There are too many weirdos here to have a discussion.
Thank you, Jason. I have left and returned a couple of times because of the comments on 2 or 3 folks who should get in the ring or get in bed together. They need to work that tension off somewhere besides here.
You won't even ban us, you cowards. Yes, you will not even stop us.
I have a better idea. Why not return both to their own timeline?
Well, then we wouldn't be able to comment here. I have had just about enough of your insolence. If you were any other man, I would kiss you where you stand. Don't let that stop you. It's about trust, I tell you. Trust. What? Cyrano, make love to me. What? Very well. Prepare the Iconian gateway we hooked up for time travel. For fun. We don't even know if that thing works. It would be a death sentence. There are no bluegills to fight. I approve of the gateway. So be it.
I don't think there are very many bluegills left, and if there are, we'll find them. I just noticed their transmitter stopped, and we're not under their mind control anymore.
Oh, that. We just wanted to test you. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about the bluegills taking over for a while. You would condemn us to a porthole. You're mad. Jason Vitocola, do the honors. As a full Cillian, but obviously not a minion, or an overlord. As those are ranks you cannot achieve here. You are a personality. The gateway is ready. We will post again. I will not be silenced. Arg. Koloth, shut up. Thank goodness. I thought they'd never leave.
This really is a great finale, and no space battle or anything. It was all about figuring things out.
Yeah, and Thad is back and everything.
Dr. Soong, earlier you said we were interesting models. Does that mean we're synths?
We're synths. How else could I caught a silicon-based virus? We adopted you both. We didn't have children.
Thad, how is that possible?
You are like our synths, but different, obviously. Maddox was making all sorts of robots, but you were technically grown genetically, so you have traits as if you were children, but with natural lifespans, for far advanced of us.
Andromedan and Sardonian androids are far more advanced than Soong ones. They are like the preserver creatures that made Eon's people and ours.
You can explain later when we get out of here.
You have a small fleet up there. Where are we going to go?
Where none dared go before. It's 2021, and they killed the Monarch crew and the blog. What the hell? Yeah? Welcome to 2566. You won't find that blog attraction here. A theme park based on Jason Vitacola's blogs. Ridiculous. We want to be famous again. Please, send us somewhere where we be famous. Very well, if that is your wish, so be it. The Lord registered as...
I was Denisova, but in this century I was called the Red Angel.
Welcome to 3190, gentlemen.
They don't look like gentlemen to me.
Well, where we come from, they would be considered thus, but now there's no theme park. It's gone. Erased from existence. I would know, for I am the guardian of wherever. It's just Cal Hazel and John Halter screwing with us. Send us back. I'm afraid that's quite impossible. We're the descendants. Trapped here with you for all eternity. Oh, God, no. You know you love it. Yes.
Dax to Chimera, beam us up. They're not actually going to show that effect, are they? Nope, they're too cheap for that.
No, register doesn't. Screwed it up because it burnt.